Hello and welcome everybody, what is going on? So this 2-year piano progress video, and it's been not quite yet 2 years, it'll be 2 years in roughly give or take 3 weeks or so, but considering I won't be here for the next 2-3 weeks, I decided, you know what, it's time to make the 2-year progress video. Pretty much a similar day that I did last year when I made the video for the 1-year piano progress. But yeah, with this time we're at the 2-year, and I think it's pretty evident to see that it's obviously I have progressed, which is obviously always the most important thing, to see that you have actually progressed. And that's really been the main aim of like these videos that I'm making, you know, keeping myself up to date. It's just seeing, okay, this is how I progressed, this is what I did at this point, and this is where I am right now. And you know, when you look at the pieces that I did in the first year, there were a lot of pieces that, you know, that perhaps I got the notes right, but sound like it didn't actually sound as good as it could have perhaps. Now in the second year I've added a lot more to the dynamics, the touch, just, you know, the way something is supposed to sound. But the issue is that I've not recorded that many pieces. I've done a lot more pieces than obviously I've shown, but I guess most of the other ones are just smaller pieces, you know, pieces that, you know, take me a week or so, pieces that I use to sight read, or to at least attempt to sight read. Now I've got a lot of books in front of me just in case people are wondering like what I've used in these past few years. Now again, this year in the first year I stuck to the Alfred piano course, which I'll leave everything in the description down below in case you're wondering about the song names or about, you know, the books and whatnot that I've used. Now none of these will be sponsored, of course, so, you know, yeah, I won't make a single penny from the thing. I'll just leave the name, I think. But in the first year I used a lot. I pretty much followed, like, you know, these traditional courses, these traditional books where you follow weekly to weekly, essentially, where you follow, you know, piece to piece, that you're supposed to take you a week and then you move on to the next piece. Essentially, that's what it was. And obviously that, you know, that helps you with like the basics. I used 2 books. First one was Alfred's Basic Piano Course, and the second was The Classical Trained Pianist. Both these books, you know, were very, very efficient. The Classical Trained Pianist focused more on classical pieces. Alfred is just kind of all over the place, you know. It's that, you know, you play from something like Jingle Bells, like something totally different, to something like, you know, to some maybe kind of like a blues piece, you know, just it's basically all over the place. So it's not just focused in classical, but yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's how I started with the first year, you know, basically primarily doing that, and like maybe I'll pick one piece, you know, one bigger piece that would take me a few weeks, a few months to really, you know, be able to achieve. So that was the aim for the first year, and then in the second year, this year, I've not really followed, you know, a course book. This year has been primarily just about, you know, learning more and more bigger pieces, more and more challenging pieces, just so I could challenge myself, because I feel like challenging yourself right now, like once you know the basics, I feel like you need to challenge yourself constantly, and that's essentially what I try to do this year. Now, the first piece that I obviously learned this year that I didn't attempt, that I didn't start last year, was Moonlight Sonata, and yeah, like Moonlight Sonata, it's been a piece that I've wanted to learn ever, basically been one of the inspirations that I've had for actually learning the piano. Hearing Moonlight Sonata on TV when I was a very young child, and since then I've always wanted to learn the piano. There are 5 pieces that I always wanted to learn, Moonlight Sonata being one of them, the Chopin Ballade being Chopin Ballade number 1 being the second one, then you have the Scherzo being the third one, then you have Appassionata from the third movement of the Appassionata Sonata being the 4th one, and the 5th one being Gerudo Valley from The Legend of Zelda. Those are the 5 pieces. But yeah, as I said, this year has been primarily just learning more pieces. Now, this is the first time actually that I think it is the first time that I've ever dropped a piece, and that was the Chopin Waltz, Brilliante. I dropped that, and unfortunate circumstances, really, because I started learning in like during the summer, and then during the summer and during the winter, which is why I'm actually making this video right now, because I will be gone tomorrow. I'll fly away for the next almost 3 weeks almost. to my grandparents. And during the winter and during the summer, I usually always fly to my grandparents, and during the summer a lot more than during the winter. So it's just kind of unfortunate that, you know, I started learning it, and then I went to my grandparents for, I think it was like 5 weeks or 6 weeks or so. And by the time I came back, I was like, I want to start something else. It's, you know, it almost felt like I learned that piece for like 8 weeks. Obviously that wasn't, or 9 weeks, but that obviously wasn't the case, but that's how it felt like, and I just wanted to move on to something different. So that's why I kind of put it on hold / dropped it. I'll probably get back to it next year, you know, year 3, but I'm not sure when. Now for year 3, the aim is really simple. Improve. Improve. Learn different things, and that's actually something that I've looked out for this year, to always learn new things. Now, this including with my teacher as well. Always try and find new things, you know. So for example, the Final Fantasy song to Zanarkand, the primary aim, obviously, it sounds great and everything, and obviously playing Final Fantasy, I like that. I wanted to play that as well. But I wanted to learn it primarily because of arpeggios. I wanted to find I wanted to find a piece that would help me with arpeggios. I thought, you know, that one seems pretty good. Seems to have a lot of, you know, the left hand moving all over the place. And I thought, you know, that's very, very beneficial, just learning that. So I always try and find pieces, you know, that in one way or another just introduce something new. The current piece that I'm doing, which is the Chopin Waltz Op. 64 No. 2. That one has a lot of left hand jumps, you know, little, you know, it's like basically what Chopin is pretty much known for, with the left hand jumps, jumping all over the place. And, you know, that's obviously something that I really want to be able to play at such a level, you know, with the right hand doing completely different things, you know, it's very separate things. And again, it's something that I want. That's something that I look at when I make, when I pick new pieces. Something that can actually challenge me, something that can actually teach me something new, if that makes sense. So that's been the goal. Next year, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do next year. First, I'm going to complete the piece once I get back home. But then after that, I don't know. I'll probably you know, go away a little bit from like the romantic and classical pieces and just try and do some other pieces. Now, last year I said I'm going to do a Bach piece this year. I kind of did that in a way. Like one of my very old videos, I think I made that video in like February or so. I actually attempted to side read the Bach Prelude in C major, I believe it was. Went pretty well, actually, you know, went pretty smoothly. And then I actually learned that piece a week, within the week after that. So that's technically complete. I never recorded that. I never recorded the full version of me playing that. I just recorded, you know, me trying to sight read it. If you want to watch it, like I said, the video was probably like made in like February or so. Went okay. But yeah, this year has been a lot of just trying to improve on the basics, and that's what it's really been all about. Now, in terms of books that I've got, there's a lot. Besides the ones that I've mentioned, but I just thought I should, you know, bring a few books out in case anyone is actually interested. Books that I've perhaps not even used yet, and books that I'll probably start using next year. Now, in terms of sight reading, there is this, and honestly, I have no idea how to pronounce this. I found this on ISMLP or IMSLP, which is actually, I don't know whether I should show this or not, because I don't know whether that's copyrighted. Considering it's an IMSLP, it shouldn't be copyrighted. So yeah, but that's microcosm. So it's basically just, you know, very short. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it a piece. It's just very short exercises that are primarily done for sight reading. That's essentially, and there's like 100 of them. If you know, there's like, I don't know where you can actually see, but it's like 100 of them. It's, you know, there's a lot of sheets. So, you know, and they get progressively more difficult. Now, I used them a little bit, and then I stopped using them, and I want to get back into that, just because I want to improve my sight reading. Now I was planning on doing, you know, my grade 3 exam this year, and then halfway through the year I was like, yeah, never mind. Never mind. So the goal for next year will be to do the grade 5 exam. But I don't know whether I'll actually do that or not, because I'll probably change my mind halfway through. That's why I don't even want to predict what I'm going to do next year, because halfway through I'll probably just change it anyway. But then you've got The Legend of Zelda, which I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. Legend of Zelda series for easy piano, which, very fun. Very fun, has a lot of very fun pieces. I've dabbled in a lot of them, to be fair, and I've tried a lot of them. I think I've only recorded 2 so far. Third one I did I just did like a sight reading, like, you know, I try to do like a try and sight read every day challenge, but I made 2 videos of that and then I gave up, so it wasn't really a monthly challenge, it was just 2 days and then I stopped. But it has a lot of, you know, very easy pieces and it has a lot more challenging pieces, so it's kind of like a good mix between everything. So that's a book that I would recommend for those obviously interested in the music from The Legend of Zelda, which I think has awesome music. Yeah, that just dropped. Then I've got Piano Pieces for Children, which has pretty much been the book that I've been using the most this year. You know, the Voice of the Heart, for example, comes from in here. Then you've got the Spinning Song, also comes from in here. It has a lot of like other songs as well. Little Fairy Waltz, which I don't think I've recorded either. Like, there's a lot of pieces that I've not recorded, just played but not recorded this year, which is why there's probably seems like such a big break and whatnot between pieces. Then you've got the Arabesque as well, which is a very famous piece by Burkmuller. The Arabesque, which, you know, is one of the easier pieces of his, and it's very fun to play. And I found it very fun to play. But yeah, like I said, it has a lot of different songs. It has a lot more challenging songs towards the end. In here, it has the Bach Prelude No. 1, which, you know, I tried to sight read. And like I said, it has a lot of just fun stuff, and it's been the book that I've probably used the most this year, in all fairness, because I played like 5 or 6 pieces just from this book alone. It was that good. I found it that good, you know. Obviously, you may not agree with that, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Then I've got the Burkmuller 25 Easy and Progressive Studies. Now, again, I just mentioned the Burkmuller, you know, piece, the Arabesque, and that is the second piece in this book. Obviously, I'm not going to show the content considering it might be copyrighted. But, yeah, very fun, very, you know, again, 25 easy and progressive studies, so they get progressively more difficult, progressively more challenging. So if you're interested in something that, you know, might be something for you, I don't know. Then I've got something that I've actually not used at all this year. I've got a lot of books that I've not actually used. There's a lot of them in here, in those 2 boxes, and there's a lot more boxes on the left. I've got like 50 books or so. I'm a book collector, alright? if you can't tell. But then I've got like Bach harmonized chorals, which, you know, chorals, I was told that chorals are especially good for sight reading, considering it's vertical, not horizontal, so you're reading primarily chords and whatnot, which obviously improves your sight reading a lot. But I've not really had the chance to go into it. I've had the book now for about 3 months, 4 months, but I've still not actually got started it yet. So if that's something really interesting, I can't really comment on it because, like I said, I've not really played that. I've not really gone through that. Then you've got my Chopin collection from Shermer's library. Now the fingering is odd in a lot of places. I have to say that right away. The fingering is odd, very odd in a lot of places, but it has all the preludes, nocturnes, and waltzes all in one collection, so, you know, I can't really complain. I can't complain at all. Now, again, this time I am learning the Chopin Waltz Opus 64 No. 2, and yeah, I'm pretty much through 2 pages out of 6. Now, a lot of these pages repeat themselves, so there's only really 3 pages, so I'm pretty much through with 2 pages out of 3. Yeah, I think once I get back home, I think it should take me like maybe 2 weeks, and I'll probably be finished with it, in all honesty. So that's what I think. But yeah, I highly recommend this. Again, the fingerings for this one are very odd, so, you know, do your own fingerings. But it has all the pieces in one book, so I really can't complain. US dollars $18.99. I don't live in the US, but it says US dollars $18.99 for a lot of pieces, so you can't really go wrong. I feel like you can't really go wrong with that. Now, next up, I mean, the two familiar things. I've got 3 familiar things actually. You've got Czerny, Opus 599, Hannen, Book 1, and then I've also got Schmidt, for the Schmidt Opus 16 Preparatory Exercise for the piano. So you've got 3 different things that you can use: Czerny, Schmidt, and Hannen. 3 different things that you can use for, you know, just technical exercises, or just the control of your touch and all that kind of good stuff. So if you want to get into that, there are, you know, these are your options, really. You know, there's a lot more. Obviously, Czerny's written like 5,000 books or whatever, how many he's written. So, you know, you'll always find something specific for Czerny. So, you know, you can always find something. And then last but not least, I've got the big book of classical music. And I've actually not gone through this book at all. But again, it is a massive book. And I've just wanted to bring that up in case, you know, in case you're interested in a book that just has a lot of pieces, you know, from that just range from like different, you know, periods. It says the big book of classical pieces. It has everything from like Bach, Beethoven, you know, Edward Grieg in the Hall of the Mountain King. That's obviously a very famous piece as well. It has a lot of, you know, a lot of good pieces, and it's, how many pages is it? It's 350 pages. So you've got 350 pages worth of music. If you're interested, obviously that's another one that you can have a look at. $20 as well. So yeah, it's also not that expensive considering how much you're actually getting from it. Now obviously you've also got the ISMLP website that you can go at, have a look at. So there's a lot of good stuff, you know. There's a lot of, you know, obviously you can find a lot of those things on the internet as well. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can find, and ultimately, you know, there's a lot for you guys. There's a lot. Now year 3, there's gonna be quite interesting. I feel like year 3, I'm gonna do less classical / romantic, and probably more like just gaming music, if that makes sense. Because that was one of what I wanted to do this year. And when I did to Zanarkand, and you know, like I said, I picked that piece primarily because of the arpeggios, but I really enjoyed it. And I feel like I'm gonna do more, just more, you know, and maybe make my own. I mean, I ended my own variations on it a little bit, so change a little bit here and there. But I want to like do a little bit more. I've already been working on just a few things that I'm currently writing, a few things that I'm currently, you know, arranging, and we'll see how that goes ultimately next year. So we'll see. But that's all I can say. We will see. And I will see you guys, I guess, next time. I'll see you guys probably in like 3 or 4 weeks whenever I'm back and whenever I've completed the Chopin piece. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you guys next time. And until then, peace out, everyone, and have a nice day.